Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about a strategy that isn't just about playing the game better. It's about setting up the entire board before your competition even knows the game is about to start. It's this wild concept that works for huge companies and, believe it or not, for your own career. And it all comes down to the power of moving first.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if, in any competitive situation, you could make a move so powerful that everyone else had no choice but to react to you? You set the stage, you make the first play, and you literally force them to adapt to your world. That's the kind of power we're unpacking today.
So what are we really talking about here? Well, at its core, it's about gaining what feels like a totally unfair advantage. And look, this is not just about being fast. It's about being strategically first, creating a kind of head start that's almost impossible for anyone else to catch up to.
Okay, so there's a formal name for this. It's called Stackelberg competition. Here's the deal. A leader makes the first move. Simple enough. But here's the kicker. All the other followers get to see that move before they do anything. The leader's power comes from knowing that they're being watched. They can actually predict how everyone else will react, and they use that knowledge to lock in a strategy that basically corners the competition. This whole leader-follower thing, it's everything.
This is a world away from a simultaneous game, like rock, paper, scissors, where we all throw down at the same time. In a sequential game, the order is what matters. The person who acts first doesn't just get a little lead, they get to dictate the entire flow of the game.
Now, all this theory is great, but what does it look like in the real world? Well, there is no better masterclass than the story of how Amazon completely took over one of the most important industries on the planet, cloud computing. Yeah, this was no accident. Amazon's mind-blowing success with Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is a perfect real-world example of Stackelberg leadership. They weren't just a little early to the party, they were strategically early, and that changed everything.
So how'd they pull it off? You can think of it like a flywheel. First, they moved first. They launched AWS when the market was basically an empty field. Nobody else was doing this stuff at scale. That gave them the time to build this massive foundation. We're talking data centers, we're talking know-how. Then, with that foundation in place, they started capturing all the important customers, locking them into the AWS ecosystem early on. So by the time giants like Google and Microsoft finally woke up and launched their own cloud platforms, it was too late. Amazon had already set the standard for pricing, for features, for everything. The followers had no choice but to play by the leader's rules.
Okay, this is fascinating when we're talking about a trillion-dollar company, right? But what's really, really cool is that you can take this exact same playbook and apply it to your own career. So let's do that. Let's translate Amazon's world-beating strategy into your personal game plan.
The whole thing is captured perfectly right here. In your career, volunteering for emerging projects creates Stackelberg advantages. That's the secret right there. You've got to find that empty market, that new, undefined space, where you can be the first mover.
So what does this actually look like for you? Well, it's pretty much a mirror image of the Amazon playbook. 1, you move first. That means you're the one raising your hand for that new, kind of messy project that nobody else wants to touch. That's your empty market. 2, you build expertise. You go deep. You become the absolute go-to person on this thing before anyone else even realizes it's important. 3, you establish your value. You become the incumbent, the known expert in this new, growing area. And finally, when that project takes off and expands, you're not just along for the ride. You're the natural leader who gets to shape where it goes next. You're setting the terms.
All right, so we've got the theory, we've got the huge corporate example, and we've got a personal playbook. But let's zoom out for a second, because the most important takeaway here, the thing that ties it all together, it's not just about moving first, it's about the power of timing.
And here's the part that is so crucial to get. The lesson isn't just always be first. That's way too simple. The real skill is developing strategic timing, that gut feeling, that judgment to know when an opportunity is perfect to jump on first and when it's actually smarter to wait and see. That knowledge is what separates the truly exceptional careers from the ordinary ones.
So this completely changes the question you should be asking yourself. It stops being, should I be first? And it becomes something way more powerful. Something like, is this the moment? Is this the opportunity where being first is the game-winning move?
So that's the real challenge. Don't just look for a way to get ahead in the game everyone's already playing. The biggest advantages, the real Stackelberg moments, they come from finding the game that hasn't even started yet and being the one who writes the rules.